Saturday, March 8th, 2025. Here we are in Dalton, Georgia, at the railroad tracks to AutoZone. It is the bad alternator. They check starter and battery, all that good stuff. So it's bad alternator. We went in and purchased a high amp, which is what came on it. Looks simple enough, doesn't it? You got two main bolts that hold it on. I don't remember from changing it last time if these two are also in a bracket. I think they may be. So you got one main line and a plug, but getting this thing off, I remember when I changed the hose in here, it wasn't easy. First thing we're going to do is we disconnect battery, take this water reservoir out of the way. I don't know if we're going to need to remove the mass airflow sensor to get down in there to it or not. We'll see when we get in there. Okay, so far we've taken off the water reservoir. It's a 10 millimeter. We've taken off the air cleaner. It's 10 millimeter. We've taken off the mass airflow sensor. It's got two connectors. They have dropped down in there. That way we can get to this a little bit better. We gotta, I guess we need to, I'm not real sure, I don't remember. It's been 15 years since I changed this thing. We have this bolt and we have that bolt. And then we have this connector, this bolt, and then that one too. And then there's another one down here, but I don't know if it has got anything or not. That's a vacuum line. We may have to disconnect it, get it out of the way. There's a water line down there. Okay. Well, I think first thing we're going to do is get the belt off. We will use the back of the ratchet to loosen the belt tensioner and get that belt off. It's got belt routing up here. This one's rather difficult to get routed back. Where is this belt routing? I've seen it. Well, I don't know where it is. We can Google it. But this one is a little bit difficult. I'll get a couple of pictures of it. Okay, it comes up from the bottom of that power steering pump, from the bottom, up over the air compressor, down under that pulley, up over the alternator, back down over the tensioner, around the bottom of the crankshaft, and then up wait a minute, where's it come then? Okay, then it comes up under that crankshaft, back around that fan pulley. Aggravating. And then comes down around the power steering pump and up and over. Where is that belt routing? Okay, that I thought was a cable back there going into it is a bracket. and it's a 13 millimeter. It goes on the top up there, so remember that. Then I feel another bolt down here in that bracket as a, I'm sure is a 13 as well. Get it off, hopefully, and then get these two off and get that wiring out and this other one out. But I remember last time, there's not any room for that thing to come out of there. It's heavy. It won't, I don't think it'll go down through the bottom unless we take that lower radiator hose off. But we'll see how it comes out. These two bolts are 13 millimeter. They're out. They weren't hard at all. But this thing has not budged. It is tight. So it's still got at least two, or at least one. I think it's got two on the back side back there holding it in. Now I've noticed this one back here, this 13, that's in the bracket. That is not holding the alternator in. I don't think I can even see that with that engine compartment off either. Might be able to. We may have to take that engine cover off, but I don't know that we can get to it from that. I don't remember how we did it. Okay, we got it out. We had to wiggle that some. We had to hold these up out of the way, and it came up through there. Yeah, and when you work on cars, you end up with this kind of stuff. It's just the way it is, folks. Okay, let's get that other one back in. We've got to knock these two of these things up a little bit so that we can get it back in that cradle. And then when we put the bolts in, that'll tighten it up. Now, I didn't have a bolt come. I may have, at one time when originally, I may have had a bolt come out of there. I don't know, but there's not one to go back in it. You can tell from that hole, it's been a while since it's had one in it too. So we'll get this one back in, these two back in. That's held it all this time. So let's get to it. Side note, get this cable back on first because you just don't have the room to get in there and tighten it. This is a 12 millimeter. It was a 13 millimeter that came off of it. That's the thing about these replacement things. Just because it may be one thing coming off doesn't mean it's going to be the same thing going back on. Okay, let's drop it back down in its cradle again and put the bolts back in. Okay, it's back in and tight. Now we got to get that bracket that comes across here. This bracket here. We got to make sure we remember that vacuum line. All that stuff is mass airflow. We gotta get this connector on. Where's this other connector? We gotta get it. Where'd it go? I must have never found that last one. There it is. There it is. Okay. Okay, there, it snapped. Well, we're bleeding from everywhere now. All these little sharp edges, all this stuff, it just rips you apart. Okay, let's get this bracket on so we can reattach all this mess. And I think we'll go ahead and hook that vacuum hose back up now. Make sure it's back on. Okay, we got it all back together. We had to use some zip ties. These sheet metal screws are stripped out. So You know what? Did I get that one back in there? Yeah, okay, that bracket's back in there, right. We'll have to get some oversized sheet metal screws. If y'all see anything I missed, let me know. I got the vacuum line hooked back up. I'm going to go ahead and get this belt back on so I can still see what's going on in there. Get that belt back on, and I'll put the air cleaner and the water overflow back on. And the mass airflow sensor and its connectors. Both of them. There's one. Where's the other one? Yeah, we just had a drag race take off from here, so there's the other one. And I ran this vacuum line over these pipes and under this so that it won't get up here and maybe get tangled up with the fan or fan belt. So, okay. Okay, another side note. Trying to get your tensioner loose enough to get the belt on, put your 3/8 drive ratchet in there, and that loosens that up just perfect. So, okay, mass airflow sensor, air cleaner, sensors, or mass airflow sensor, connector sensor connections, and air cleaner, water reservoir. Okay, got the battery connected back up. We'll wait and see if this alternator's going to do right before we connect that those off-road lights back up. I checked the oil the other day, so it should be fine. Power steering fluid. Was a wonder I saw that little light. It's sort of dim. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, there it goes. Gauge is showing back up to about 16. Alternator light's gone. Okay, folks, we're gonna wrap it up and hit the road. Take us back in, get our $40 deposit. I think we'll head on down towards Christie's just in case something goes wrong here. And we'll put this one on and get it all done. It's showing empty. We are going to have to get some gas. We have got, how many miles? Got 246. We got about another 100 miles close to it before we need gas, but we'll probably go ahead and get some. Saturday, March 8th, 2025. Are we having a bad day yet? Alternator's light just came on. I've got a gauge too. I guess I'm lucky I saw the light come on. We're going to try to make it to AutoZone and get an alternator and swap it out. So it's about 11 minutes. I think we've got enough juice in the battery to get there. So we'll ride along and see. I'm going to cut everything off. No fan, no anything. I do the unplug of the everything that is that makes drain on the battery, the chargers and everything. We may have to stop, crank up the generator and charge the battery back up. Who knows what we're going to get into. We'll see. Ride along and find out. Okay, we've cranked it up. We are leaving the Burger Den. We're headed to AutoZone to try and find a alternator. I don't know if we'll make it or not. I don't know if this light is correct or not. I've turned off everything. No fan, no power outlet, nothing. I'm hoping it's just the instrument panel, because it's not working right, although I had it repaired. It says we're 11 minutes away. The amp meter is showing just under 14. It may still be charging. It may be instrument panel. The light may have just come on. That's what I'm hoping for. we get to the auto zone, if we make it, we'll check, get a voltmeter and check it, see if it's charging. We've got two RV batteries back here, but both of them are top post. So I don't know, like we would have to rig something to make them work. Or either cut the battery cables off and put top post terminal on them. But then if it's not charging, that's still only going to get us as far as the battery has charged. Now I did tap on the alternator to see if maybe brush is not connecting. It might connect it back up. I'll say it's showing just under 14 amps, so I don't think it's charging. It's been showing closer to 16. It should be showing 14. Okay, she's got us turning in 0.6 of a mile. We don't need to be stopping at these red lights either. If it cuts off, we don't need to be in the middle of the road. Showing 8 minutes. I'm hoping we get down here and check the voltmeter and it's showing charging, but I don't, with it showing under 14, I'm pretty sure it's not. I think that right lane ends, but we'll be turning, it's got us turning, I think, where it ends. As long as we've got room on the side road, it'd be better to pull off there because we could hook the battery charger to it and battery charger, crank up, use the generator, crank it up and charge the battery up. We'd get as far down the road as we could. I'm wondering if they have like a top post to side post cable adapter. What we have to use are blinkers and just the engine running is all we're using on the battery. She said they had two different alternators, so if we get there and it's not charging, we should be able to get it charged, or should be able to swap it out. It'd be aggravating. This alternator's not any fun. I've changed it once, and it's been 10, 15 years ago. I've been thinking it might go out. I was thinking about buying a spare. See, I need a spare. I need a parts van. I tried to buy one last week. We don't want it to cut off going around a curve somewhere. If it gets where it cuts off, we're going to lose all power. I try to keep enough tools in this thing to change it, if I have to, change the water pump on the side of the road. I don't know if I've got the right stuff or not. Usually every time I need something, I'm one tool short. They said they had loaner tools. Minutes out. Yeah, I had this instrument cluster rebuilt, but the alternator gauge still didn't seem to be working right. So, but this light's never come on before. Dalton, Georgia. 1 o'clock almost. We should be able to swap the alternator out in a couple of hours. I didn't know this lane ended. We need to get back over. We have roadside assistance, but was that a parts store? We have roadside assistance, but it's not going to pay to tow it all the way back to Donnie and Christie's. Yeah, I just did a video about a girl that was really having a bad day. She was bawling her eyeballs out. Okay, 3 minutes out. This happened to me and Tony on the way back from up here one night. The alternator light came on in Marietta. Had to go all the way back down to Lilburn. I didn't know if we'd make it or not. Couldn't find it. That's when Barrett Parkway ended at 41. There were no parts stores, so we just got back on 75, and turned out that it was just the instrument cluster. The alternator was still putting out. Okay, is this where we turn? Yeah, we got to turn left right here. I'm hoping that's the case here too. I think we'll go ahead and get the alternator. We can always take it back if we need to, but get it, and if we have to, put it on the side of the road. This should not be as bad as the power steering hose up in either barely in Tennessee, Kentucky. Putting power steering hose on this thing one Saturday afternoon in the heat. Put it on our back in the asphalt. We're close enough to walk there and get it now, but I can't leave it. Wouldn't be able to leave it sitting out here like this. I think there is an Advance right close to. Of course, it's still running good right now. I sure hope it's the instrument cluster, the light. But I don't think so. It's because it's showing less than 14. It's been showing closer to 16 amps charging, or volts, whatever. Yeah, there's AutoZone. We can go in the back way or the front way, it looks like. Yeah, there's O'Reilly. Okay, let's go in there and see if we can borrow a voltmeter and see if it's, make sure it's, whether it's charging or not. And if not, we'll grab the alternator. Find us, we'll see if we can, we need to park in a shady spot somewhere. If there is such a thing. Let's get up at that upper end up there. That way we'll be out of everybody's way. We'll back in. Hey, we may get a train or two coming by. And if we have to have it towed, this would work. Let's get over one. That way, if I had to have it towed, they'd be able to get sort of straightened out. And wouldn't have to pull it across that curve. Let's get over two. That way they could get sort of sideways and pull it. That way it'll work. It'll work. Okay, let's go see if we can borrow a voltmeter and make sure this thing is not charging. I gotta pee.
Please turn the vehicle on.